This regular meeting of the Judson Board of Trustees hereby called to order at 7 p.m. Thank you all for coming. We'll establish a quorum. Mr. Salinas?
Present, sir, and thank you everybody for being here, and happy holidays.
Ms. Pershaw?
Good evening, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
Mr. Flores?
President, thank you all for being here and happy holidays.
Mr. Macias?
Yes, welcome, President, and thank you for being here today.
Mr. LaFoyle?
Thank you for coming, and welcome, and Merry Christmas.
Dr. Salinas?
Good evening. Thank you for coming, and please enjoy your holidays.
Steve Showerman, Board President, and Dr. Matoy and his staff.
Present, and again, happy holidays to all the families, safe and happy holidays. Just very quickly, Ms. Hernandez has a graduation, her son, and Ms. Volz will be taking over for that piece this evening. Mr. Fields, Assistant Superintendent Operations, Mr. Elizondo, Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Austin, Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Berra, Associate Superintendent of Administration, and Jackie Perez, Board Secretary.
Thank you. Will you all please stand for invocation by Dr. Montoya, then presentation of callers and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow your heads. Father God, we pray to you always to protect everyone in our community and our students especially, and we ask that everyone be safe and enjoy the holiday. And always help us to remember that we exist to serve and to help our students, and that we can work together in a positive way to accomplish that. Thank you very much, and please take care of everyone. We pray to the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I'd like to introduce to you our pledge leaders for tonight. We have a couple of them. First of all, Jasmine Alvarado. Come on up, Jasmine. She is a fifth grader at Park Village Elementary School. She's a member of the Safety Patrol, the Park Village Choir, and as a student council member. She enjoys reading, playing board games with her family, and she wants to be a veterinarian when she grows up. She's going to be saying the U.S. pledge. And then we also have, from Hopkins Elementary, Alexis Gaines. Alexis, come on up. Alexis is the youngest of 5 children with 3 brothers and 1 sister and an aunt to her 3-year-old niece. So you know she's busy. She is actively involved in Girl Scout Troop 2614 and sold over 300 boxes of Girl Scout cookies last year. She enjoys singing in the Hopkins Elementary School choir. Let's join, first of all, Jasmine in the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God,
one and indivisible.
Ready, go. Ready, go.
You may be seated. And let's give Jasmine and Alexis a hand for a nice job. And while the board is coming around, will the parents of these two students, would you please stand up just to be recognized, please? Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize our color guard for tonight, coming from Judson High School Junior ROTC, Cadet Captain Tyler Sprague, Cadet First Lieutenant Tyler Patience, Cadet Second Lieutenant Jalea Tab, and Cadet Second Lieutenant Christina Henderson. For them? Yeah, I had them stand up. Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, I believe we have student liaisons this evening coming from Wagner High School. Carlos Maldonado. And Xavier McKinney's. Brad Kessler, is he here this evening from Judson Learning Academy? Yes, that's it. Are the parents of these two students here this evening? If they are, please stand up. Now, our next recognition, earlier this year, there was a call for high school students that are of the artistic way to come up with JISD Fiesta Medal Design. Now, this is the second year for the design contest, and we get more entries each year. Now, this year we received 22 great submissions, and tonight we have the top 3 winners, and we also have some prizes here as well. Third place goes to Isaiah Nurse, Judson High School Junior. He wins a Blu-ray DVD player from RBFCU. Okay, he wasn't able to make it apparently. Second place goes to Marcus Hinojosa, Judson High School Senior. He also wins a DVD Blu-ray player. Now, I've also been asked while, just for a moment, while we get this one thing up here, you might also look at some of the doors that we have up. This is also something that's coming out of our Business Partnerships Department from Yvette Reyna, who's also our executive director of the Judson Education Foundation. We had more than 120 door decorated submissions, and it was just a way of really getting everybody involved in kind of the Christmas spirit, and some extremely well done doors, and we want to congratulate all those folks too. Now, our first place winner is Troy Johnson, Judson High School junior, wins a Kindle from RBFCU and a $1,000 scholarship to the Art Institute of San Antonio. Yeah, if you see right up there, that's the winning medal. And can the parents stand up just for a moment? Okay, also in relation to this Fiesta Medal, we want to let you know that you can pre-order your Fiesta Medal for $7 by visiting the Judson ISD homepage starting tomorrow, and you can click on the Fiesta Medal button and you can order it at that point. Now, our next is not necessarily a recognition, but I did want to call to attention. When you pass back and forth in the foyer here, you may notice a display that chronicles the many times that the Lions Club of Converse has donated dictionaries to our school. In fact, 1,200 dictionaries to 12 of our schools. The display includes the thank you notes that were also sent from some of our schools too. Mr. Glenn Maple was a part of that donation. And if you have a moment, whenever you go back and forth here, you might want to check out the display. That was awfully generous of them. All right, our next recognition is from Judson High School. You may have seen some of these gentlemen on the football field over the past several weeks. It was a great football season for the Judson Rockets, for head coach Sean McAuliffe. His second year as head coach, it was a season to remember in a lot of ways. It was a total team effort that brought the Rockets to the state semifinal for the second year in a row. It finally ended last weekend, but these guys are a family. They win and lose together, and they decided to be here together as well. The Rockets left it all on the field, and that's the way you want to do it to end it, whichever direction the score ends up going. So congratulations to the Rocket football team who is here in force. And I will go through this roster very quickly because I want to make sure that each and every player is recognized. So I need to get my glasses on here because there's a lot of them here. All right, Juwan Turner, Greg Craddock, Jay Miller, Demarion Clark, Moses Gonzalez, Shane Calvin, Kevin Luster, Alton Robinson, Joshua West, Tayshawn Hunter, Kenyon Morgan, Brody Stepler, Mackenzie Martinez, Chris Mills, Jovan Holmes, Dominique Ramsey, Frederick Gaines, Harold Watson, Mikkel Jackson, Drayshawn Govan, Jamar Dean, James Bodock, Mason Richardson, Sincere McCormick, Joel Crawford, Edwin Yornay, Xavier Morris, Nicholas Stewart, Michael Washington, Omar Nesbitt, Jonte Turner, Freddie McDonald, Anthony Jimenez, Terrence Bennett, Stephen Lovelace, Adrian Salazar, Dominique Williams, Rashad Wisdom, Mark White, Connor Bergen, Austin Rodolfo, Walter Roland Elio Gayton, Jaime Ferguson, Darren Brown, Jacob Alonzo, Paul Hicks, Geromano Wilson, Isaiah Whittington, Terrence Hickman, Edward Shard, Anthony Miller, Isaiah Spears, James Enriquez, Masood Woodson, Fernando Coronado, Melvin Thompson, Tommy Walker, Deshaun Jones, Keith Jefferson, Lionel Tapia, Rashad Beecham, Darian Thomas, Patrick Avalez, Samari Crane, Wesley Viejo, DeMarvin Leal, and Brandon Walters. Now, also want to recognize the coaches, head coach, of course, Sean McAuliffe, Rodney Williams, Ricky Mott, Guy Anderson, David Brothers, Joel Call, Aaron Carter, Chris Dean, Jason Draper, Donald Harris, Ross Mott, Robert Shaw, and Mark Salcedo, and Warren Torres, and the trainers David Sicklebalt and Megan DeTry. Thank you very much. Congratulations, guys. Now, as these folks are taking pictures, I do want to let you know there were 3 players. Now, I'm not sure whether all 3 of them are here or not, but 3 players who have been recognized as honorable mention academic all-state by the Texas High School Coaches Association. Raise your hand if you're here. Xavier Morris, Dominique Ramsey, and Lionel Tapia.
They still can't see us.
No, they can't. Us short people. Short here. I know. It's kind of see the top of our head.
This is always the challenge of getting everybody in there.
Where's my Central Catholic buddy? Yeah, it's JT. You know. Yes. You're definitely there. Him and my cousins are like that. They played football at Central together. I know it's hard to believe. You're welcome. I got it. But you know how those buttons are. I'll get it. Leadership. Winning is fun. How many returners do we have? How many they get catch the double or hanging Oh, really? Johnny.
Those are our recognitions for this evening.
All right, well, take care. Yes, sir.
Hey, y'all, we're gonna meet y'all, turn y'all.
What up? Big Stu. Come here, bro. I'll be above your head out here in a couple hours, all right? Oh, was it? Oh, they got that on camera. That's good.
Right, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. There you are. Yeah, my brother, I live in DC. He works for the oil company. They're all fired up. We'll see you.
I'll probably see you at Chick-fil-A when Ben sneaks off.
So, Dominic X and Tapia, or I give it.
I'm very pleased you have taken time to join us this evening. As the Judson Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals and policies and oversee the management of the district. We are responsible for approving budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and to listen to reports from the superintendent. We are not here to make administrative or management decisions pertaining to the daily operation of the district. This is the responsibility of the superintendent. In compliance with the state government code on open meetings, tonight's agenda has been appropriately posted. This is a meeting in the public, not of the public. As our guests, you are welcome to observe and listen. These proceedings are being video and audio recorded and will be part of the Judson's permanent legal record. In order that the tape adequately reflects these proceedings, please silence your mobile phones and refrain from talking while others are speaking. Since it's illegally mandated that these procedures record accurately, I may have to ask for I've asked for order periodically should I notice that disruptions are interfering with our recordings. Thank you for interest in Judson ISD. I don't think we have any we have some citizens to be heard at this time. This time is provided for citizens to address the board on issues or concerns. A person may speak one time for a period of 3 minutes. Presentations shall be informative only. No board action will be taken. A complaint or charge against an officer or employee of the district is not allowed in open session. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through these channels. Presiding officer shall determine whether a person who wishes to address the board has attempted to solve the matter administratively. If not, the person shall be directed appropriately to appropriate policy to seek resolutions for bringing the matter to the board at a separate meeting. Citizens wishing to receive a response from concerns presented to the board must provide written documentation. The board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Thank you. Okay, we got a couple here. Okay, Mr. Randy Parnell,
Pennell, sir.
Pennell, I'm sorry,
That's all right.
Pennell,
I've been
5B,
called
I should
worse,
know that.
President. I've been called a lot worse.
That's a lot of
sir.
reading, my mouth gets dry.
I understand.
Yes.
Mr. President, distinguished board members, first of all, thank you for your service, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Staff members, thank you for what you do. What you do is not easy. The concern I have, I was honored to be asked by this board to serve on the Hall of Honor this year. I wanted to do that for the district, and I'll always do whatever you ask me to do. But some concerns, I've been to a lot of meetings lately, and I will continue to come, is I just think there's, and I know y'all have beaten up Mr. Linkscomb, I'm sorry, I got false teeth, I didn't pronounce that right. But anyway, Steve, y'all beat him up about this, so I'm not gonna take much of your time with this particular matter. But as I received my packet, I looked at who was on that board. You have Mr. Montoya. You have principals from Judson, principal from Wagner, which gives you 3, and then 3 civilians, citizens. I'm missing 2. There's a total of 8 people. So my first concern is there's no tiebreaker in place, okay? And my second concern is that it's all done via email. Every bit of it. Yes, ma'am. He even mentioned that the last meeting. That's how it was done. Something that's so prestigious, and I think it's prestigious. I know a lot of good people out there on that wall. Why would you do something that means so much to folks over email without sitting down, having a cup of coffee with each other and giving everyone an opportunity to speak their opinion? I know it's on the agenda for y'all to take appropriate action, possibly this evening, and it's kind of late to do anything now, but if we continue to pass the same procedures on to generations up the road, all we're doing is passing the same problem on. If we say we're going to fix it and look at it, we need to really fix it and look at it. People deserve that. You do not have the bond issue on the agenda, so I will not speak about that. I also serve on that also, and I have some concerns of how that's being conducted also. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kim Aldridge, Board Behavior.
Good evening, board members. I'm here again to speak to all of you, but I'm not here to talk to you about this naming of the new school. I want to talk to you about your attitudes and the actions that you have taken. Some of you on the board just sit there in your chairs, not caring for anything that any one of us has to say. That was proven loud and clear last Wednesday, December 9th. In fact, I really think that you just sit in your chairs and zone out. At the special meeting on December 9th, there were approximately 30 people that spoke to the board. As I sat in my seat, I counted only 8 to 9 people that spoke about keeping the name of the new school. There were at least 25 people that spoke about changing the name. The people that wanted the name changed were the majority at the median. What is wrong with you not listening to the people? I guess you were too proud to do the right thing. Board members, you are in those seats because the public put you there, and you are supposed to be our voices. Clearly, you have your own agenda, and you don't listen to your constituents because you do what you want with no matter to what the public wants. Ms. Pashaw, Mr. Flores, Mr. Salyer, and Mr. LaFoyle, I sure hope that you sleep peaceful at night in regards to your past actions. One thing I truly believe in is karma. Karma is a witch, and she is coming in May of 2017. I've never been so embarrassed to say I live in the Judson ISD district where the board members ignore the public. Mr. LaFoyle, you talk about a 12-year-old girl that was dropped off at your house that turned out to be 18. Do you need your vision checked? The age difference between a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old is a big difference. I also heard that you told somebody that you were mentoring her. Really? How can you make those comments after the situation with the Wagner band director that tarnished our district? Mr. LaFoyle, you need to get your vision checked and your story straight. You play games and tell them what you want to hear. You mentioned in the past 3 months, if you wanted to paint that wall orange, that you would paint it. You had also mentioned to the public if they didn't want you in that seat, that you would go fishing. Well, Mr. LaFoyle, I know that you don't represent me. You represent yourself. It's time for you to go fishing.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to, whoop. Okay, we're going to move along. Okay, we're going to do consent items for consideration of consent items. I'll read them. If anybody wants one pulled, just say pull. 4A, consider and take action regarding approving minutes from the regular board meeting held November 19th, 2015. Consider and take action regarding 4B, consider and take action regarding approving minutes from the special board meeting held September 16th, 2015. 4C, consider and take action regarding approving monthly financial information as of November 30th, 2015. 4D, consider and take action regarding approving expenditures equal to or greater than $50,000. 4E, consider and take action regarding approving a resolution adopting an amended cafeteria plan document, which includes a health flexible spending account and dependent care flexible spending account, and the authority to maintain and administer the plan. 4F, consider and take action regarding approving ranking for a new infrastructure engineering services and related budget amendment to the general operating fund. Okay, we're going to vote on 4A, 4C, 4D, and 4F. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor say, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay, 4B, I'll read it again. Consider and take action regarding approving minutes from the special board meeting held September 16th, 2015. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second, got it. Okay, discussion. I think that was Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir. I believe we voted on this in October, on this same approving the minutes for September 16th, if I'm correct.
Jackie?
The 16th were pulled? Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we're going to 4E. Consider and take action regarding approving a resolution adopting an amended cafeteria plan document, which include a health flexible spending account and dependent care flexible spending account, and the authority to maintain and administer the plan. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Salinas, second, Mr. LaFoyle. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Thank you, sir.
That's
I
on
just had
page
a question for Dr.
35.
Montoya.
Mhm.
Where our employees already were doing this type of thing. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, we had one in place, that's correct.
Okay, this is just a new one, or?
Yeah, Mr. Elizondo, go ahead.
Yes, sir. This plan has been offered to the employees since 1987, I believe.
Okay.
But there were some changes that we needed to make to the document because of some changes that have been made to the Internal Revenue Code. And we also want to offer an additional benefit to our employees. Currently, when they're going to claim for their dependent care or unreimbursed medical, they have to go out, pay it out of their pocket, and then submit a request for the company to give them back their money. Well, what this allows us to do is issue them a little debit card so that when they go to the pharmacy or to the doctor, they can pay their copay or their pharmacy, their prescription, directly out of that debit card, so they're not taking more additional money out of their pocket. They can pay it directly out of there, make it a little bit easier for them so they don't have to worry about filing that paperwork and getting reimbursed at a later time.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're going to 5, discussion and consideration of action items. 5A, consider and take possible action regarding approving campus improvement plan executive summary report.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. LaFoyle.
Second.
Second, Ms. Purcell. Discussion? Dr. Montoya?
Again, this item here is an item that has to be shared with the board. It's based, again, on some district, the plan for the district, but at the same time, it's based on each campus. I don't know if, Ms. Barra, if you want to share anything beyond that, go ahead.
Yes, every campus does a campus improvement plan. Through the campus improvement plan, they do a needs assessment, and they each do their own plan. For the board, they do have to submit an executive summary. And for this meeting, all the summaries are written in such a way that it's easier to follow from one school to the other.
No, Ms.
No, Renee.
Oh, Renee, go ahead.
I didn't know you were finished, Ivan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, they do look better. They really do. And my question is, as I was going through some of these, I noticed that many of them say the same thing about the PLCs.
Yes.
What is the PLC framework, please?
The PLC framework, we use the same one. We used to call it the 3 instructional systems when Ms. Robinson was here. And we're still using that, but now because we're adding a 4th component to that, we're adding the coaching component. So we want to make sure that we're all using the same language. It is still the 3 instructional systems that has brought us success in the past, and we're now adding the coaching part.
What does that
to it.
mean?
What does it mean?
The coaching.
The coaching
Who
part.
does the coaching?
Ms. Austin will be doing the coaching part. She is trained and has had training in doing the coaching with the principals.
Does she coach just the schools that have the most need, or
Oh,
all
no,
of
no,
them?
no, no. We do, in the past, when we've done the PLC or the 3 instructional systems, we've done it school-wide, district-wide. And so now that we are adding this next part to it, we are still reviewing and maintaining the 3 instructional systems. But what we've told the principals is that that is a process that we use for the PLCs. We're now adding the coaching aspect to it so that when they do sit down with a teacher and try to explain, or with a team, and try to explain scores and how they need to be improved, how can we do it in such a way that it becomes an ownership type of activity instead of an accusatory type of event?
Okay. Would you please turn to page 99?
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that on the focus, this school is going to focus on morning tutoring and extended day. I suppose that means after school?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that when they'll be doing it?
Mhm.
Is it going to be each day, or they've got certain days
They
during the
do
week?
different days according to the
They
teacher's
have their
schedules.
autonomy as to
Yes.
when they schedule
Mhm,
it?
Yes.
All right. On any of them, actually. So during this time period that they're working on focusing on the things that they need to improve, some schools don't have very much improvement because they've done well. And kudos to all of the schools, actually, because they're now getting ready to enter into their 3rd year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the process, how are they documenting to be able to track the progression of what it is they're looking for? How are they doing that tracking? Is there a certain time period
Yes.
during the year that they are going to document the tracking?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
One of the things that they do is, as they meet during their meetings every 6 weeks, we've got that schedule for every 6 weeks. And during that time, they write down all the activities that they're doing. Now, sometimes we will sit in with them and go over their data as well, and that's how we're keeping track of what's going on at the schools as well.
And so with that data, you'll be able to tell whether or not there's making any improvement?
If they're making any
Yeah,
progress. Yes, ma'am.
that's mainly what I wanted to know. Thank you, Ms. Betta.
You're welcome.
Dr. Salinas?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Barra. These do look a lot more consistent, so thank you for that, and thank you for adding professional learning communities. My only comment would be that not every campus is addressing special ed, and I know with our new accountability system, our new report card that just came out, our TAPR, we did reach intervention stage for the entire district, and so not a critique, but a comment, just to make sure that every campus, because that's going to be a systemic issue that needs to happen elementary, middle school, and high school.
And I do want to address that concern, Dr. Salinas. What we've done is we're also looking at the PBMAS report, and at every leaders meeting, we do address that. And one of the initiatives that we're doing is to make sure that the curriculum department works with the ELL department and the special ed department. And they meet on a monthly basis to really look and see what it is that we're doing at the campuses to improve those areas. And that is above and beyond what the campuses have said they were going to do.
Right, and I just want to make sure we have our documentation so that when and if TEA comes in, you can say, all of our executive summaries do address that special
Okay,
population.
I will go ahead and make sure that we put that in there.
Right, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to vote on 5A. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 5B, consider and take possible action regarding approving inductees to the Judson Civic and Athletic Hall of Honor as selected by the Hall of Honor Committee. That's all one. Is that two, Jackie?
That's on page
That's just
117.
one, right? You got C over here on the top of it. That should be just one, right? We got to read.
No, see, just missed that.
Okay, we got it. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and read the discussion item, okay? So we got it in the record. Consider take possible action regarding approving inductees in the Judson Civic and Athletic Hall of Honor selected by the Hall of Honor Committee. Recommendation, the Communications Department recommends the Judson ISD Board approve the committee's majority selection of John Dyer for Civic, Dr. A. Marcus Nelson Civic, Ian Miguel Riaz Civic, Kanan Carter Athletic, Corey Sears Athletic, Derwin Gray Athletic for induction into the Judson ISD Hall of Fame. Discussion. Everybody has this, right?
Yeah.
Everybody got the same thing? Great. Okay, Renee?
Thank you, Mr. Salyer. Is Mr. Linscomb available?
Yes, Mr. Linscomb, please step up.
I'm so sorry for overlooking you, Dr. Montoya.
No, that's okay.
May I please
He was
speak with
sitting over
Mr.
there. Yes, ma'am, go
Thank you,
ahead.
sir. I apologize. Mr. Linscomb, would you please repeat one more time the number of people that are on the selection committee?
There are 9.
When did the new committee member come on
New committee
board?
member was added when we had a selection for the principal for Mackey High School.
Ah, I see.
So now we have 9, which means we have a deciding, majority.
To break a tie.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Dr. Montoya, is that not something that requires board approval?
Not to my knowledge. In fact, we were researching what districts do, and most districts don't do that. They just have a committee that selects, and that is the selection. But this district, historically, in the last few years, has brought it to the board for approval as a process.
So if there were any changes with the selection committee, it was brought to the board for approval?
There really wasn't any changes other than, I believe, a couple of meetings ago approximately. In fact, it may have been yourself or someone else on the board brought up that we needed a tiebreaker.
Yes,
So
sir.
that one was added.
Okay.
But the rest of it remained the same as far as.
Right, that's
yeah.
correct. But what you're telling me is it doesn't require board approval?
No, not officially, but we do it again. I think it's important that you folks also have an approval process and know who's on there. I think that's important.
Yeah, it is. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Flores?
Thank you. I'd just like for you to thank the committee that spent their time working on this and bringing us this presentation. these nominees for for us to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. I think thanks again, Parnell. Oh, I'm sorry, Arnold, you popped up there. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, go
I
ahead.
just did.
Go ahead,
I
Arnold.
just,
Go ahead.
Dr. Montoya just mentioned that several of the districts don't even go through the board. They have a committee, which we have, and I think Mr. Parnell brought a good idea. Maybe instead of just emails, why don't we get together and let's discuss it? I like that idea. And maybe if we do not require, if it's not required that the board approves it, for the future, maybe just let the committee approve and bring the names and say, these are the ones that are going to be inducted, period. Thank you.
And just a quick comment, Mr. Pannell had a good point. If possible, to bring the candidates face to face. Now, unfortunately, some of them are literally in other states and all over Texas, but the concept, if we could do it, would be the best way.
Sir, I would also like
I
to
don't think that's-
say, just in terms of how the committee operates, I know the comment that Mr. Pannell brought up in terms of an email committee, that was actually enacted a couple of years ago because there's a timeline that basically goes from because we have the gala that goes on in January. So we have kind of a timeline that we need to follow, and so the committee members need to be appointed by the board by October. That hasn't always happened, so what we've had to do, since we've kind of had our backs up against sort of a timeline, we've done the email version, but that's not the ideal way that we've wanted to do it. We would like for the committee to meet face-to-face so they can discuss, they can ask questions, and then at that point they can do the balloting. But that's really the ideal that we would like to do.
Mr. Shaw?
And yeah, I totally agree, Mr. Linscomb, because, you know, when the committee gets together face-to-face, they then have the opportunity to share with one another the reason that they made the choices that they made, that maybe some other committee member hadn't thought about.
Right.
And being able to have that discussion, that's, I believe, is integral.
I think that that's a good way of, especially if some folks don't necessarily know one nominee
Right.
real well. I think that's helpful. I do believe that in the end, while that discussion is open and is helpful among the committee members, the actual balloting, I think it's very important for that to be a secret ballot so that
Absolutely.
everybody will be able to vote their mind.
Right.
And,
But once they have been able to collaborate openly, then they know what they're doing when they do that ballot,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
secret ballot.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so. And you mentioned that October is the time that you normally get together?
That is when we ask the board to appoint the
Okay, that's
community
when you ask
members
the
for
board.
the.
So it has to be done at almost the beginning of the school year. In order for you to not, you have to gather what you have to, I guess the first thing you do is put the call out to the community. Is that what you do?
Yes, ma'am.
So that has to be done sooner then. So you don't get to the crunch time
Right.
and then they don't get a chance to meet.
Right. Well, the call to the community for the nominees goes out during the summer, actually, I'm sorry, at the beginning of the school year. And then whenever we've had time enough for the community to make their submissions, then we ask the board to come up with the 3 community member names so that those committee members are appointed and we can put them in place and we can start that process. That way, whenever the timeline goes along, it ticks along at a good pace. It gives us time to be able to not only have the recommendations for the board to pass, but also time to order plaques.
Right.
Let them know that they are going to be inducted, so that they have time to make travel plans, so on and so forth.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Linscomb.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flores?
Thank you. Mr. Linscomb, maybe we need to set the committee in February or March, and that way you know who the committee is. And then when the nominations, when we ask for the nominations of the people to be inducted, October, the committees has already met at least once. They know each other. And I think it would make it a lot easier, and I think this board should probably ask for that. I don't know if it's a policy change or if it's a procedural change, but
It's just always, that's been the timeline, but I'll be happy to ask for that and put it on the agenda a little earlier in the year, as you suggest, so that that'll be in place.
I think that would work best if the committee's together. Doesn't
Yes,
have to
sir.
be the nominees for the induction, but just the committees that are going
Sure.
to be working on it throughout the year. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Macias?
Dr. Montoya, you had mentioned earlier that the other districts do this entire process a little differently. I do think to some degree that we're kind of micromanaging this whole process, and it really doesn't need to be at this level. We should allow a committee to do this process. But I will suggest that you can always have a standing committee serve a year term. That way you don't have a break in continuity, and you can build that committee for a year, and maybe 2 years, whatever that commitment may be, so that you don't have to be coming to find community members every year. So those two things to consider, and certainly, Dr. Montoya, I'll touch base with you in looking at how some of the other districts are doing this process so that we can streamline it a little bit.
Okay. Let's just look at it. Let's get a fine timeline. We got plenty of time, and bring something to the board, and we'll put it on the agenda and a couple options, and we'll go from there. We got a year now, so 8 months or so. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're voting. Is that it? Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Linsom. We're voting on 5B. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to 5C. Consider and take possible action regarding approving the following new and additional staffing requirements and a respected budget amendment for assistant principal, band director, athletic coordinator, lead counselor, and Army ROTC for Mackey High School, 1 additional dyslexic therapist teacher, 2 additional speech language pathologists, 6 additional special education paraprofessionals, and an at-risk secondary counselor. Motion? Motion. Mr. Salinas, second. Mr. LaFoille. Discussion? Dr. Montoya?
Again, members of the board, there's 2 pieces here. One is directly attached to Mackey High School. We really do need to get these positions approved so that we can post them early, because we're going to need to find the right person as we begin to open Mackey High School and get kids lined up, and also to get them ready for some summer camps and activities, academies, and different things in the summer. So that's why we're asking for those positions to be approved. The other positions, the extra ones mainly in special ed and at-risk counselor, are extra positions that we do need to serve our kids. Some of these also replace contracted positions, and we feel it will save the district money, but at the same time, we will have control of those positions much more so because they are our employees. So we're asking that those 2 sets of positions be approved.
Any discussion, anyone? Mr. Macias?
Dr. Montoya, naturally, I do agree that we need to get staffing for the new high school, but we're not receiving any funding until we have students enrolled, right? So
That's correct. And again, these positions would not officially take effect until the summer, literally. But
Okay.
it'd be better to identify the people this spring, because the other part is they have to, depending on where they come from, if they come from out of the district, they have to be allowed to exit out of their districts also.
So the timeline would be then
Yes.
sometime maybe July 1st or something to that effect. And then well, we should minimize then any expenditures from our reserve funds, our fund balance, I'm sorry. It should just come out of the enrollment at the
That's
school.
what we hope happens, to be
Okay.
honest, yes.
Mr. Salinas?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question on page 120, Dr. Montoya. It says here that the cost for one contracted LSP is $92,000 versus a full-time SLP staff member. My understanding has been that it's very hard to find somebody to come and do a full-time as a SLP, staff member. Is that correct?
That is correct. Some of
Okay.
these specialty positions are very difficult to fill, yes.
But-
Ms. Barra?
But we do have somebody, some people that have applied for that position.
Oh.
But you're correct. In the past, we've contracted out,
Right.
and by now hiring these people, we would save about $20,000 apiece.
Because they were leaving because they would make more money as,
Correct.
to come over here and do some work for us instead of being full-time members. Okay, that's one of them. The other one is on the same page. Converse ES Inclusion, Hartman ES Apple, Salinas ES Apple, PPCD, Kitty Hawk Middle School Apple, Wagner High School Apple, and, I'm sorry, Woodlake Hills Middle School, and Wagner High School Life Skills. And it says here that we want 6 education professionals. The question is, do we want them in right start of the second semester? Or are we
Yes.
talking about 2016, 2017 budget?
We want them to start may I answer?
Yes, go ahead.
We want them to start second semester. We are concerned about student safety. And this particular schools have students that elope and have students, so we do need them to start in January.
And I don't have problem with that, ma'am. I know that business. Thank you very much for bringing it to the board now. So we're looking at a total cost of, is that right, Dr. Montoya? $830,238.57 that's gonna come out of the fund balance?
Mr. Elizondo, that's correct. The amount is correct, but go ahead, Mr. Elizondo.
Well, those amounts that you're seeing there are annualized amounts for these individuals. As was mentioned a little while ago, we're not going to hire all these people right now. So that is just to give you an idea as to when we do have a full annualized, like for 16, 17, that's what it's going to cost for these positions. But for the 15, 16 year that we're currently in, like the paraprofessionals, the costs in there are for a full year, but it's going to be half of that if we hire them all, like in January. The same thing for Mackey High School. Although that $395,000 is an annualized cost.
Correct.
We're not going to incur that this year because it'll be pushed off to next year. We may have a month, maybe or two, depending if we have to bring somebody on board, maybe in May or June. But if we don't bring them on until July 1st, then none of that will happen this year until next year. But that's to make sure the board knew how much these positions were going to cost once we added them fully to the budget for a full year.
Okay, sir, very, very good, thank you. So, as soon as, if this is approved, our HR, Ms. Hernandez, can start looking into these personnel that are needed by the beginning of second semester, is that correct?
That is correct. The funds will be available so that they can post the positions and start hiring.
Thank you very much, I will be approving this, or my vote will be yes, because we need these people in the schools immediately. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Barra?
Dr. Montoya, can I say one thing about the Mackey High
Yes,
School?
go ahead.
The Mackey High School, the one position that will wait until this summer will be the assistant principal, because we don't want to take them out if we're going to be hiring from within. But also the choir and the ROTC, they have to be hired now because they need to start setting up the band program with the students, and they need to start getting the uniforms now.
Yes.
And the athletic coordinator as well.
And the athletic
so-
coordinator,
So we're
'cause they
looking
need to
at,
start.
the plan is sort of advertise the positions in January and bring recommendations to the board as early as February, as late as March, and then bring the staff on board soon thereafter.
Dr. Salinas?
Thank you, Ms. Vera. You alluded to part of my question. I want to make sure that internal and external candidates can apply for all positions, to include Mackey High School.
That's correct.
Because sometimes as a principal, if you have somebody really, really great, you really don't want them to go. And sometimes if they're not so great, you're more than happy to let them go. But if you're the receiving principal, it puts you in a bind. So I just want to make sure that internal and external candidates can apply
That's
for all
correct.
positions. And then my next question is, for campus-based positions for Mackey High School and all the other schools, principals have the final say on who's hired?
That's what we hope.
They make the
because
recommend.
It does go to the issue of allowing our internal candidates to have preference if they want to move.
Sure.
Now, what we don't want to do is force them, obviously, but the discussion, obviously, if it's internal, will be from the Mackey principal talking to whatever principal that is the
Sure.
boss of those teachers that want to go to Mackey High School.
Right, but even for the other campuses here, so Candlewood and Hartman, the principals are the ones who are making those decisions on the paraprofessionals, on the dyslexia teachers, on the special ed, or speech, well, special language pathologists would be special ed department
Yes,
because they
the-
visit other schools. But I just want to make sure, because
Yes.
again, as a former principal,
Yes.
it's frustrating if you're just told, well, you're going to take
No.
Carl Montoya,
Yeah.
and you're trying to build your campus and find the right fit. So I just want to,
I think what we're saying is that a special ed department might give a little guidance,
Yes.
but you're
Right.
correct,
Absolutely.
Dr. Salinas, that as a principal who's going to deal directly with that staff member, that's where the choice or decision has to be.
it's critical. As,
Yes.
as 8 years as principal, I was
Yes.
able to select one
Yeah.
assistant principal. Everyone else was
No, we-
directed
no,
to
we-
me
we don't
or
wanna-
moved from another campus to me.
No, and we don't
So-
want to do that. We want the new high school to open with some very quality people.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any federal money here, Jose? It's all out of pocket? or- I mean, some
Not
of
for
this
these
is-
positions. There are some state money for like the at-risk persons, some comp ed funding, funds for those.
Yeah.
And the special ed, all those
Right.
positions are funded with state special education money.
Right.
However, I will qualify that by saying that we spend a lot more money in the special ed program that we receive from the state, triple the amount. So it really is coming out of the local funds. But
Well, I'm
we do
asking.
receive money for state, for special ed.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we're going to vote on C. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're going to discuss 5D, consider and take possible action regarding legal services provided to Judson Independent School District. Is there a motion?
Second.
We gotta read the motion first.
I make a motion that we terminate all legal services with Walsh, Gallegos, Trevino, Russo, and Kyle PC, effective immediately after all current legal services are completed.
Second, discussion?
Why?
Mr. Salinas? Oop,
Yes,
You up
sir.
there? Go ahead, you're first, go ahead.
Why are we doing this, instead of waiting till the end of the year so we can put out another RFQ, although it's not required, but after so many years, I mean, what is the concern? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Macias?
I'm going to yield to Ms. Pichelle. I'd like an explanation, then I can respond to her.
Mr. Macias, the reason that I made this motion was due to a revelation that I discovered the other night when we had our meeting on Monday night. There was some information that was disclosed I didn't know anything about, and that is the reason for my motion, sir.
Mr. Macias?
Well, I know that you're pretty new to the board, so there's some inexperience there on your end. It's not a good practice to terminate lawyers midstream, and in all fairness, you were not part of the board at that time as well, so you're still being orientated to some
Let's-
degree.
Let's be careful where we go with this.
Well,
This is a closed
I'm
session.
careful,
I mean, you know,
but-
I'm just saying, I'm
but-
reminding everybody where we're
But
going with
the,
this.
I mean, I can understand any concern, and I'm talking in a very general sense, but certainly that needs to be communicated rather than taking action that would be adversely impactful for our district. Walsh is actually a leader in the community and has been a great benefit to our HR department in terms of dealing with a lot of legal issues. I actually have the same sentiments regarding Fowler Law Firm, and I'm concerned about their legal advice and would want to make the same motion, but I certainly know that their work is a lot less than what Walsh does in our community, for our district, to say the least. So I think that your reaction is a little off course because it is truly reactionary. It's not even thought out or thorough. There's so much good work that they've done, and one of the worst things I've seen boards do are play politics with legal services, and it's not effective. Walsh is a pretty darn good organization. Did you ask administration what their thoughts were regarding this?
No, sir, I did not ask administration. I've been asking administration a lot of questions that I've not gotten answers to, so I didn't ask that question either.
You know, the administration play a much larger role with our legal services more than we do. And so, yeah, I'm not going to dismiss your concerns. I mean, they're legitimate. I mean, you need answers. I would ask for the same answers as well. But I think that this course is going to have an impact on our district. And I obviously wouldn't support this measure.
Dr. Salinas?
I apologize, I wasn't here on Monday, but I'm curious. I'm also new to the board, so I'm learning. But all of our other discussion, consideration of action items, we read them, we make a motion, we second, and we move forward. But this one didn't have anything about Walsh Gallegos on it, where I could have asked some questions prior to the meeting. I had no idea that this was happening at all. Is that standard? Is that how we do it? Today we're gonna do it this way? I'm just curious, because for me.
There was a major complaint that I didn't put things on the agenda. There was a request to put this on the agenda.
I absolutely. My question is why doesn't it say, consider and take possible action regarding terminating the legal services of, so then I would have known and I would have been able to call Dr. Montoya or call you, or whoever put it on there. It says Salyer, so I would have called you to talk about what's happening. I wasn't here Monday. I didn't get a call from anybody. So I'm just a little astonished. I know, from what I've seen the last couple of months, no one else would be okay with this, the way this was done. So, thank you.
Mr. LaFoyle?
I'd love to tell you, but I can't. And I'm calling for the question.
Okay, there's a call for the question. As everyone gets the right to speak once before we can call for the question. Anybody wants to speak again before we call for the question? That hasn't spoken. That's the rule if you call. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go vote.
I thought we had to vote.
We're going to vote. Yes, sir. We're voting right now and call for the question.
Stop the discussion.
Yes, sir. It's call for the question. Everyone wants to speak and speak once. Call for the question, then we vote on call for the question. Yes would be a vote call for the question.
And that's in our policy somewhere,
Yes,
that we
sir,
all
it is.
speak once?
Everyone can speak once.
But
Yes.
Robert's rules. But you do know, too, that in Robert's rules, you do need a two-third vote to call for the question.
And we changed that before, too.
Is it in our local policy?
Because two-thirds vote.
If you're going to follow Robert rules say two-thirds, let's follow it. Let's not pick and choose which one we're going to do. Robert's rules, two-thirds. You need 5 board members to call and cease this discussion. I
Correct.
just want that to be noted.
Okay, fine. It's 5 votes. We know that. Ready? Let's see. Hold on here. Okay, vote. Everybody can vote. Nay. Okay, great. I see it. Tally. Okay, 4-3, motion fails.
Okay.
So we're back. I think Mr.
Macias.
Macias was up next. Go right ahead. Go back to discuss.
One thing that I hope hasn't occurred is any collusion with more than a majority of the board regarding this matter. This is serious district business, and if there are 4 votes already to terminate Walsh Anderson's contract, that tells me that there was some discussion taking place prior to this meeting. Because if Richard was going to call for the question without thoroughly having dialogue regarding this matter, I mean, that's questionable. I mean, we haven't even had a real discussion about it. All I said is I object to it. Renee says I want to count them, and that's basically it. Well, you had to put it on the table. I'd be happy not to. Put it out there in public, and that way we know what you're thinking. But my concern is that you guys actually can Walsh Anderson. I mean, that's going to be absolutely embarrassing. So I just need to hear from my colleagues, I mean, Mr. Salyer, Mr. Flores, what your thoughts are on this, because this is a pretty drastic measure, and one that, again, I know Renee is an at-large member, and she's very passionate about her job here. I'm not going to question that, but just the inexperience aspect of it plays a real question here.
Mr. Salinas.
Thank you, sir. Question number one. Was Walsh Gallegos advised that this would be on the agenda tonight, so they could be here and listen?
They don't have to be advised.
I think we're being very unprofessional if we have not made a phone call telling our legal that the chances were that they were going to be on the agenda, so they would no longer provide services for our district. I'll tell you one thing, many times that we have called Walsh Gallegos, they have provided information free of charge. Now, if I call them and they have to do research and do a plan for us, then of course they're gonna charge you. But just to ask questions, and a lot of times they've answered a lot of questions with no charge. I think this is incorrect what we're doing and the way we're doing it. Very unprofessional. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Pershaw?
Yes, sir. I'd like to respond to you, Mr. Macias. I've not gotten any phone calls. There's not been any coercion. I made my own decision, and I made that independently after what I heard on Monday night. And no, I was not here at that time. I was not. But it was apparent that there was a division going on even then. And so, as a member of this board now, I am able to make these kinds of educated decisions, and so I did. But just so that you know, believe it or not, there was no coercion, there was no discussion. I made an independent decision.
Mr. Flores?
Thank you. And Mr. Salinas, all the law firms, you can call them by phone and they will give you, it's not free. We pay them a stipend amount and we can call them.
Retained.
And again, like you said, if they have to look into anything, yes, there is a charge for it. But they have to do research. And as far as this goes, I've had some problems, or really some thoughts about Walsh Anderson at the time, and just some of the way they were doing business. And by that I mean it was perceived that they were playing to the majority of the board. They were doing things that, and I have to be general about this. In my mind, they were doing things that weren't equal. They were, in our last meeting in closed session, it was alluded that, some people had different information, more information than the rest of the board. And as our attorneys, it was their duty to make sure that every board member had that information. And for some time now, I've had, just feelings about Walsh Anderson as far as how they've handled themselves. And that's all.
Mr. Macias?
Well, I just don't like the course that we're taking on this, but I will then ask back, if we are going to move Walsh Anderson along, what the alternative is, because I can tell you that I don't have confidence in the Fowler Law Firm. And when you look at our stable of attorneys, who would handle HR? I mean, we don't even have an RFQ out there to bring in new legal services. So you're putting our district in peril. I mean, seriously, because there will be issues that come up until we go through the process. So when I talk about it not being thought out, this is definitely not thought out. It seems very emotional and very reactionary. But I will also say to Ms. Pichelle that the division regarding this issue you're talking about yielded a 7-0 vote. And so there was no division. And I apologize to the community for not being able to elaborate more on this, because this is a closed session item that we legally cannot discuss in open session. So the details of what we're talking about have to stop at some degree. But that is what Ms. Pichelle is alluding to about not feeling in the loop, if you will. But the board was privy in terms to all relevant information. And the thing is, when we voted, we did vote 7-0. And obviously this was in regards to the Dr. Mackey situation, that I know I can say. I mean, it's public information. So I wish that, I know you would probably tell me the same thing. If I have a concern, talked to someone. You should have talked to Walsh rather than just arbitrarily come and make a motion. That's really not fair to them as well. So, again, just looking at the way you conduct yourself, let's not be emotional on this board. Let's think things through. Let's talk to all the stakeholders. Let's get answers to your questions. And then if it comes down to it, then we can make our motion because we're not satisfied. But to make one without all the information and details, it's poor management.
Dr. Salinas?
Yes, I'm curious as to why Ms. Pashal's name is not on this item, since she's the one who wanted this on the agenda.
Because I'll tell you, here's what, Mr. Macias asked to talk about legal, right? Now, wait a minute, okay? Now, you know what happened with Ms. Perez? You asked it on, you asked me, I put it on there, okay?
This is not the item I put on.
But it's not the item you want, that's
So-
correct. And we explained to you why it wasn't that item.
Well,
It was a mistake made, okay?
Okay.
But I made sure that discussion was on here, and you have the right to discuss. But the exact item you wanted on there was discussion about the Fowler Law Firm, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
So
but
my
there- but
agenda
there
item
was a
said
mistake, and
Fowler
I sent you
Law
a text
Firm.
message that this wasn't even behind your back, that it was an honest mistake by our secretary.
Actually,
And
you said it was your item. I just want to make that
Yeah,
clear.
okay, I
You
said
put this on the
I put
agenda.
this
I did
item
not.
on there to discuss legal, right? Correct? There was a mistake made.
Are you answering me, or
No,
you're
I'm answering her,
okay, I'm sorry.
For both of you, anybody wants to listen.
I-
But there
I
was a
just didn't know
mistake
who you were
made,
answering.
there was a mistake made, right? You admit that? Okay. Now, we'll put your item on next month, but there was a mistake. You said you wanted it on there, I put it on there, and I put my name on it, because that's how we did it. Now, if you want, and I apologize for not putting the exact wording you want on there, but you know why that happened.
And I'm not questioning that, but I don't want any attention to this item. This is not how I verbalized
I understand.
and communicated
We
by
know-
email my
Correct,
agenda
but
item.
Not to me, but it happened. There was a mistake made. We all apologize for that mistake. And you
Well-
wanted it on there, and I put it on there with my name on it.
Well, I do want to make a motion to terminate the services of the Fowler Law Firm. So, that's my motion.
Two separate motions?
It's amendment. I amend the motion to terminate the Fowler Law Firm. And the reason I do that is because I want some discussion on it as well.
Can I finish mine? I was the one who was asking questions, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
I'll
I haven't
pull
read
my
Robert's
motion.
rules, but I will read to see if we're allowed to do what just happened.
No.
We're not?
No.
Okay, so then
Now,
we need
when
to
he has
decide,
the
are we
floor-
following them or not
Right,
following them?
okay,
And
so-
then we need to be
right.
consistent.
You have the floor.
Thank you. So why
Mrs.
isn't Ms. Pashal's name on the item if she's the one who wanted this on the agenda?
No, I wanted it on the agenda. I asked for a motion, and a motion was made.
Who will we be using if we choose to terminate Walsh Gallegos?
We have Fulbright, Jarnovitz, it's in your book, Tatum, Texas Associates School Boards, and Fowler Law Firm. Those are the four.
Okay.
that we
And
have.
and with any open, pending, or past cases that Walsh Gallegos has been working on, will they still be working on those?
Yes,
To
that's-
finish those out?
Yes.
Okay, and then if we have any future problems with doing business, or we have a law firm who's perceived as playing to the majority of the board,
Mhm.
we will be consistent and terminate them also?
Well, it takes a motion.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because that's one of the reasons that was given, that we were going to terminate because they were perceived playing the majority of the board. That was we had problems with them. So, all right, thank you.
Mr. Salinas?
As an agenda item, I think they should have, if this was going to happen, and you knew about it, I think you as president should have put there that it was going to be Walsh Gallegos being discussed. And no, we didn't just discuss, it was discussion and action item, but no name of any firm. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Macias, do you have a motion now?
Yes, I want to get back to that amendment motion. I'd like to have an amendment to discontinue the services of Fowler Law Firm.
Second.
There's a first and a second discussion.
Yes, and the reason for that is because in the same concern that Ms. Pashal mentioned about the potential of Walsh playing to majority, which honestly, I've always seen Walsh address every board member's concern. They've always returned my calls. Even now, and people say, I'm not in the majority of the board, they still return my calls. So they are board attorneys. I'm going to tell you what my concern is with Fowler, and I'm going to put this right out there. Fowler has yet to return my calls nor answer my questions that I've inquired about the cost of services that she provided to Mr. Salyer for her opinion on the naming of the school. I still don't have that data, which concerns me. I'm going to tell you, if they're my attorneys, because I'm on this board, they're my attorneys, and they're not responding to me, I have a big issue with that. And Fowler is not responded. I haven't heard a peep from them. So you're taking a quality attorney like Walsh that will be receptive and will address questions and will take, and you take Fowler that is playing to the majority right now, because the majority is not me, Mr. Salinas, and Melinda. And I understand that's the way it always is, but that's the perceived split on the board. So bottom line, the concern is that they're going to work for the board president, because if Mr. Salyer, who is put in an open communication not to have legal talk to me or do anything that I request, diminishes my direct contact with our board attorneys, which is completely out of line. And I know that I've received communications that that has been the case. So it's not Steve Salyer's attorney. And right now, that's the only person I think Fowler's talking to, because I certainly haven't heard from them.
Mr. Salinas?
The Fowler Law Firm has always, they've been with Judson for a number of years. Their expertise has been in the contracts for construction, looking into the warranties of construction. They've never done anything else for us as far as I remember since I've been here. It's always been because they are the experts and they're good. So I don't understand what has happened. And if we're gonna hire them for that, I don't have a problem. But I don't think they have the expertise that Walsh Gallegos has as far as the grievances, HR personnel, and because they've always, Walsh Gallegos has always done that for the district for a number of years. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll say this, I've talked to the lawyers at Walsh Gallegos on several times my concern. And I wish I could say why I'm going to vote for this, or not vote for this, for the amendment, but for the original one, is because of what happened in closed session the other night. It's appalling, it's not right, and I wish I could tell you what happened, but I can't. We're governed by closed session. And that's all I'm going to say on it. Mr. LaFoille.
You said, Mr. Macias said that it was a 7-0 vote. If I'd have known what I learned the other night, I would not have voted for it. So don't classify it as a 7-0 vote. It was a 7-0 vote with us not getting the full impact of what was happening. And I think that he knows that very much. The thing is, I have asked the law firm, not that one, the one we're getting rid of, questions when you were board president. I never did get an answer. The thing is, they've been fair to me to a certain extent, but when they did what they did, they lost all credibility with me.
Dr. Salinas?
Yes, have we ever considered ranking these in order so that we can then, if we're going to call someone, we have our first?
What we need to do, and I'm just me, if the board wants to do it, we need to go for RFQ for attorneys again, because this is by an RFQ, and basically what it is a pool.
I
It's a
understand
pool,
that.
and this is elimination of one set of attorneys from the pool. So what we can do is direct we don't have to vote, just direct Dr. Montoya to put out an RFQ in January and see who applies.
Right, but what I'm saying is to rank them so that we know the services that we provide. So like we'd say, oh, well, we're going to always call Fulbright and Jaworski first.
No,
Or
there's not like it.
Fowler Law Firm first.
The only thing with Walsh Gallegos, for $1,000 a year, they had a retainer to call them as long as it didn't cost anything.
Right.
That was it. That's all there was that. You can call any attorney you want to. or TASB. There's never been a stipulation that you can't call any attorney. The only thing the attorneys are told to, if any board member calls them, they call the president or the
Absolutely.
superintendent. That's the only thing.
So we've not ever considered doing that.
Do what? I mean, I'm not understanding. Ranking them? Ranking on which one we call for? Well, different attorneys.
Yes, I'm aware,
we're
they
kinda
do
used for
different things.
different
I understand that.
Right.
That's why I'm asking.
We can rank, I mean, we can put an RFQ and rank, but
I'm saying with the ones that are here, have we ever considered doing that? So we know we call Fowler Law Firm if it has to do with any kind of buildings.
you can call
We know
anybody. You're a
that.
board member, you can call anybody. It's just their instruction to call the board president or the
I
superintendent if you
I
call, and
understand
that's
that.
it.
Okay. Maybe I'm not communicating well. All right, thank you.
Mr. Macias?
Yeah, I'll try not to belabor it too long. I'm already kind of seeing where the votes are falling on this. But I am interested to ask Mr. LaFoille, what did I tell you? You said I didn't say anything. You found out at this last meeting on Monday. What did I tell you?
I can't repeat that. That's a closed session item, the same.
I'll tell you right now, I told you nothing. I told you I couldn't tell you nothing. So there's nothing I told you. So you know nothing. And so.
Okay, we're getting
that's
close
what-
here, folks. We're getting real close.
So
Okay.
I need to be clear, though.
I
'cause
don't want
if you're
anybody to
going-
cross the line here. We're getting
If
close.
there's going to be statements, I want clarity, and so I'm making
Okay.
clarity.
So, no, we can't go in closed session on this.
And let me just ask too, I mean, I will put this on record too, that the Walsh Gallegos Law Firm did not recommend, Mr. Sellier, that you remove the item from the agenda regarding the name. They said you should put it on there. Fowler told you you can keep it off. And it's interesting now that Fowler's going to be the lead law firm because you want Walsh out. I think
I didn't
that's
say
probably
that.
more the motive than anything.
Well,
Because
that's
they didn't do what
accusation,
you
Mr.
wanted,
Macias.
you're going to
That's
go ahead and move on.
accusations.
I'm just putting it out there. That's
And I'll
that's
put
what
it
it
out
looks
there.
like.
And I'll put it out there too.
Go ahead.
You were board president, and Mr. Saline's board president. They did not respond to us.
And I don't know why it took you 4 years to say something.
Well,
That
I
was
have said that
2011.
in many times.
4 years ago. I've never
No,
seen you
Mr.
once put it in
Macias.
writing. I've never
That
seen you
is-
once put an email.
I talked to them over and over again, but anyway, I'm not going to discuss that
I know,
anymore.
but
You
that's
have your
4
opinion.
years too late.
Okay, is everyone ready to vote? Any other discussion? We are voting on the amendment to terminate the Fowler Law Firm. Yes is to terminate, no is to keep the Fowler Law Firm. Hold on here, let me get blinking here. Hold on. Okay, ready? Yes is to terminate the Fowler Law Firm. Yes is to terminate the Fowler Law Firm, no is to keep the Fowler Law Firm. Let me get blinking here, hold on here. Okay. Okay, 5-2. Motion fails. Okay, now we're back on the original item to terminate Walsh Gallegos. Any further discussion?
I move to table this motion to move Walsh Anderson until we have more information regarding this matter.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would just caution my colleagues not to be reactionary and not to react in a manner that will hurt this district and our employees and our kids. And by doing so, there's no one else that would take the lead to the same quality that Walsh would. Fowler is nowhere near where Walsh is. And Fulbright, I don't think they do HR. They're also another type of attorney that does bonds, and, I mean, they're not HR attorneys. So which means our stable of attorneys really we don't have an HR expert. And you'll know that HR is a big part of what services are provided from legal. So I ask that we take a real hard look at this, like we should, and make a sensible decision on what direction to go if you guys are through with Walsh. At least we have a quality attorney in the wings to bring in and transition. But I have no confidence in Fowler.
Okay, yes is to table the motion, no is to move forward. Vote, please. Vote's tabled. Okay, it's tabled. We'll bring it back next month. Okay, moving on. Okay. 5E, what's personnel report? Let's go to superintendent discussion items and reports. Okay, and superintendent report. A1, career and technology education update.
Okay, members of the board, just an update in that area as far as all our district programs and activities. Ms. Austin, if you'd share that piece, please.
Yes, in your board packet, we have provided for you just an update on the enrollment of our career and technology programs, and many of you had the opportunity recently to take a tour of the career and tech programs at Wagner and Judson High School. We wanted to set out the department goals, the results to date related to our career and technology programs, as well as the key personnel and the proposals right now for expanding the program. We also have our director, Ms. Renee Lafreniere, is here today if we have any specific questions related to the update.
Any questions?
Can you remove the?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back here to discussion. Go ahead. Mr. Salinas.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to say that I did take the tour and it was wonderful. I mean, it's unbelievable. It so happened that it was at Judson High School. I couldn't make the one at Wagner. But what I saw there, it was fantastic. The students, the teachers, the administration, the counselors, Ms. Lafreniere, I mean, it was just fantastic. I was glad that I was able to make it on that day. And if you have not taken that tour, please, Ms. Lafreniere is ready to take any board members. And if you ever, I'd like to make the one in Wagner, hopefully after the new year, Ms. Lafreniere, because it was just fantastic. And it so happens that it was during class time when the kids were doing the work or practicum or, I mean, I was just elated because I'm going to be making an agenda item for the January board meeting. So don't leave so you can hear what I'm going to tell you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Shaw.
Thank you, sir. I too went on the tour, and I went to the Wagner. And Ms. Lafreniere, thank you very much for arranging that. The only other thing that I'd like to ask is there anything in this update that's changed? Anything different? And when we went to Austin to our annual convention, and we were able to see some CTE kids from other schools, and they actually showed us what they did in their classes at the convention. I'd love to see our school district do that very thing with our kids at a convention. Thank you.
Mr. LaFoyle.
12 years ago, I got on this board. I started preaching. We only have so many McDonald's and so many Walmarts. We need to get these kids out of here with an education in welding, something of that they can carry out and make money. This lady heard me. She started these programs. I can't say thank you enough to her. Our children are leaving the school with a trade. They're going out there and not sitting on the corner with a sign that says, I'll work for food. They're getting a job, and they're being a credit to our community. Thank you very, very much.
Any other comments, Dr. Matoya?
Again, in a general superintendent's report, we have been literally meeting with the Alamo Community Colleges, UTSA, Texas A&M, San Antonio, Wayland Baptist. We are working on the early college model, and the goal being we hope that this coming year we'll be able to do something, and I believe we will be able to. But again, we had several meetings with their people, and we're developing a model and a program that's coming. I also met with General Robertson from Randolph on the issues, because we get about 11% of our students from there, and it was very positive. He's happy with Judson overall, but we discussed just a few areas on improving how we can service our military kids a little more effectively and those types of things. Also, a couple of quick announcements. Board, you will see at the Rutledge parking lot towards the end of December, early January, about 12,000 trash cans being put together by Converse City. They've asked to use our parking lot as a staging area. So if you happen to drive by, that's what that's about. You'll see that. It's a positive thing, and we don't need the parking lot for several days while they put those together for the Converse community. And then the last item, again, this is a little bit, we hope, positive, but we never know. January 1st, the open carry law comes into effect, where people literally, if they have a license, can carry a gun in a holster, either a shoulder or on their hip, and go to certain facilities, and some they can't go. So we're working very closely with our administrators to train them as to what's allowable or not allowable on a campus. We're also working with our police agencies, not only our ISD police, but other agencies, to understand what exactly that law means. And at the same time, if, for example, point blank, maybe in an elementary, parents are dropping their kids off, and they see a guy standing in the parking lot wearing a gun on his hip. What are they allowed to do or not to do? What is the law? What are our police agencies allowed to do? So we're working on that, and I'm just giving the board a heads up and the community, because that law takes effect January 1st. And again, we're going to follow the law, but I envision, in the bottom line's parents literally getting on 911 or calling somebody. There's a guy with a gun standing in the parking lot, and I'm dropping my second grader off. Well, guess what? But bottom line, folks, we're training. We're trying to understand the law and what we can do legally and not legally. So I'm just giving everybody a heads up. Now, if you don't mind moving along to the next item, Mr. Fields, an update in the construction area.
Yes, sir. Last month, we were at 80%. This month, we are at 84%. The only construction project we have currently is the Mackey High School project on Evans Road. Exteriorly, I would say, and we are on time and constructually under budget. I would say on the exterior part, the deceleration lanes that we place in front of the school have been put out. The flashing lights will go up next month for the school zone. And interiorly, we're still working on the millwork and the finishing. But next month, they will start to lay the basketball court, so that should really start making it pop out there. And it'll have a lot of branding on it as well with the Patriots. Any questions?
Dr. Montoya, I have a couple questions.
Yes, go ahead.
If I could address Mr. Fields.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fields, I looked at our last report that was included in our packet regarding that bond project, and the new high school is, I think, $64 million essentially is set aside for that project. Is that correct?
It wasn't set aside, no, sir. Originally, it was $60 million. Okay. And the $4.4 million was the addition of the football field and the subgrading of the baseball.
Yeah, the project amount on page 20 or 35 does stipulate $64,448,000. So that's where that 1.4 that you mentioned is. So it says that we've paid $46 million or so. So we're under budget, and so at this point, what are you projecting that final cost to be? Is there a ballpark for that school?
No more than the $60 million that's been.
No more than the 60. I'm going by the 64.
I apologize. The $64 million that's been allotted to the project.
Okay, and so as year to date, it says amount paid 46.9. The reason I ask, obviously, is since we do have a bond and it may include more to this school, we want to make sure that we can showcase, hey, we did our best, and I think it looks like we are.
Yes,
but
I would say constructually, Mr. Macias, just for a point of clarification, I believe it was $50 million that was allotted towards the project. Am I correct, Mr. Elizondo?
I thought it was 63, to be honest.
Construction. Okay. We can go back and check, but if I've followed it now, the overall amount is $64.4 million. Constructually, it was $50 million, and then there's an extra $10 million that's for FF&E, architectural charges, and a host of other things.
And when I look back towards the bond, and it was an $83 million bond, I think, that was put out there.
Correct.
And the $83 million, I think 63 in my head, I don't know why I kept remembering marketing material, 63 million for the high school, 20 for the elementary school. We spent 22 million or so for the elementary school, and so the balance would go towards the high school. We added 4.4 million, as you said, for some additional features for the school, and so it was an $83 million. I'm looking at the document, an authorized bond, 83 million. So that's where the split was, more or less, and so, I like that we can brag on being under budget. I know that we're going to have to sell a new bond, so.
And on time.
And on time.
Yes,
And believe me, the heartache, I recall in my first year on the board when Judson was not on time, the high school itself, and there were a lot of headaches with that. So that is big time when we're
Yes,
on time. So that's all I have for now. Thank you.
The next item is a brief update on the bond discussion, the potential bond discussion. We have had 2 meetings with the architect, with our staffs, and with the community people, and that one, we're going to have another one in January. The goal being to set up the needs and various options, and of course, in the end, we'll ask for board input as to if they agree with some of those, and whether, number one, we proceed with a bond, and number two, what areas does the board and the community feel that we have needs. But, again, the meetings were very positive, but Mr. Fields, if you want to share anything else.
I agree wholeheartedly, Dr. Montoya. I would say that one of the things that came out of the first meeting, and we're trying to stay with the same group of people as we go through this process because we're preparing a presentation for the board to determine whether or not we go forward with the bond. But one of the things that came out of the first meeting was the need to actually go back to 2001 and discuss the bond history over the course of the years to show how we got to our present-day situation in terms of our facility and campus needs. But it seems to be working real well, especially after last meeting. I know Dr. Montoya would like to put together a meeting to speak with a group of students as well, and then the last meeting will be conducted on the 19th of January. Are there any questions?
Okay, let's move on to 6B, update on athletics and college readiness for Mr. Shaw.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Montoya, if you don't mind, may I please address Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank
Good
you for
evening,
being
ma'am.
here again. And also, I do have the binders to return to you that you've allowed me to look at. The binders are very thorough and comprehensive. The only thing that I would like to ask is it possible, Mr. Miller, that these 2 binders and what each of the high schools have in it, since now there is another high school, I know it's going to be a while before they'll have the varsity program, but would it be feasible for you in the athletic department to take the information that is in these 2 binders and develop guidelines that come specifically from the athletic department, so that rather than them be Wagner College Readiness and Judson College Readiness, that it is the athletics and the college readiness for Judson Independent School District, so as not to make a distinction between each school.
Yes, ma'am. We can do that.
That it comes from your office, your department, and this is what the Judson Athletic Department expects.
Yes, ma'am. We'll take care of that.
Also, along with those lines, with a distinction, in the one page that we got, Judson ISD, and then it says in parentheses, Wagner High School. I'm concerned about.
That was an error.
Okay. We're all Judson ISD.
It was just a typing error.
Okay, all right, because we're all Judson ISD. And in the very first item, it says students and parents are notified of interest by college and university via mail, contact through the Judson coaches, or club AAU team coach. Are there written procedures as to exactly how that is going to happen?
There are no written procedures on exactly how that's going to happen because the college can choose any one of those avenues. And sometimes when they choose the avenue of club sports or AAU, we don't even know about it until they might contact them in the summer, and then when school starts, then the school, so that they can get the proper academic information and background information, then the NCAA school will contact each of the appropriate schools or to get that information.
So what happens when it says contact through the Judson ISD coaches? What happens when the coaches don't do that? Then what happens?
The coaches don't do what?
They do not notify the student and parents. It says here that they're notified in different ways by the college. There's also a contact through JISD coaches. What happens when the contact is not being done by the coaches?
Well, if it's not being done by the coach, it might be done through the college readiness or through the school itself or the AAU club, or the school will get the contact information on the athlete through various ways, and they may contact the individual himself on Facebook or through social media. There's all kinds of ways nowadays that an NCAA school will contact a potential athlete. But what happens when the school finds out is that this process starts, and that at that point we try to manage it so that the athlete has the best opportunity to get their scholarship.
So when you do find out, there's documentation
Yes,
that
ma'am.
that has happened,
Yes, ma'am.
and the documentation is kept in your office, sir?
Not my office. Through the individual coach, because we have so many sports. The individual head coach finds out that a student's being contacted, and then they work with the college readiness to make sure that that student is prepared academically, and all the contacts are made, and they're district-wide. Our team, the college readiness counselor, our academic coaches, make sure that student is prepared and has every opportunity to get that scholarship.
And everything's being tracked?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything?
Yes, ma'am. We use, throughout the district, we use a program called Core Course GPA, and it follows just exactly the requirements of the NCAA clearinghouse. And the students can track it, the parents can track it, the NCAA college can track it on each individual athlete.
Okay, all right. And then one more thing, sir, and this doesn't have anything to do with the recruitment plan. It came to my attention, Mr. Miller, that the hospitality suite on the 4th floor has not been extended to the Wagner High School principal and family. I know, and I have seen, being up there on the 4th floor, that there's a sign that says that that particular suite is reserved for Mr. Hernandez's family. Has that been extended to the principal of Wagner when they have their games? on the Fridays or Thursdays that Wagner uses that stadium, does that principal also have the same opportunity to have that suite, that hospitality suite for their family?
Anytime we receive a request from the principals or any of the board members, we accommodate them.
So it's only if it's a request?
Yes, ma'am, because we have to know who's going to request, because there are, we have to accommodate each of the competing schools' next opponents. And so there are some times where we'll have 2, 3 radio stations, maybe a TV station. And so during the week, we take all those requests and then we organize the press box so that everybody gets accommodated.
Mm-hmm. But what you're saying is that that request has not come from the Wagner principal?
We've accommodated every request that we have seen.
So if it's not there, it's because it wasn't requested?
Possibly. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I wondered how that worked, because I did ask Mr. Fields if he ever had that opportunity when he was the principal at Wagner to have his family in that hospitality suite. And the answer was no. So it is upon request?
Well, and it's not a hospitality suite.
Okay.
There's only one hospitality suite, and that's the one that y'all are all in.
All right. What is the correct terminology?
They're coaching boxes.
Okay.
There might be visitor boxes that we allow folks to, upon request, to use if they're available. In actuality, during a Wagner game, there are plenty available up there.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. LaFoyle usually, during a Wagner game, Mr. LaFoyle usually requests one and receives it. But there are some times, even when a Judson game, where Mr. Hernandez requests one, and we just don't have the room, so he gets denied. So it's not, it has to do with who we have coming to the game, the number of scouts that report in, the number of requests that we have by the board, and visiting dignitaries. Sometimes we have the mayor of Converse. I think you even came up one time as part of the contingency with Mayor Suarez.
I did.
All that is requested by us, either through the superintendent, through Jackie, or through request. And the request comes in the form of, do you have a box? If you don't, it's okay. If you do, would it be okay if I bring my family up there? That's how it comes from Mr. Hernandez. He doesn't always get it. But it comes by request.
Okay.
And if we've neglected to communicate that to anybody, Mr. Fields, I apologize for that. That's not our intention. We want that facility to be utilized. It's a wonderful facility, and we utilize it to promote the Judson community. That's our goal.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay. Mid-year update on requests made by school board. That's in your book. Some people, that's a state board education requirement.
Members of the board, that item, a request made by board members once a year by Education Code and TEA, we have to report what board members, how many requests, how much time did it take our staff, and ultimately what the cost is. So this is just almost a mid-year update is really what it is.
Okay. Ms. Bashaw?
Yes, sir. Dr. Montoya, is this the format that will be sent to
To the
TEA?
state? No, this is not the final format. This is more an update for board members at this time.
So which board member is which number?
I don't know, Ms. Pettis, if you want to share that?
So the numbers that you have here are, I guess they correlate with the budgets that each board member are assigned. So when we upload this information, it's uploaded to teams, so the team's office has it. They don't go based off of each board member, it's done. Thank you. It isn't calculated individually, it isn't reported individually, it's reported as the total number of requests, the total number of time, the total dollar amount.
But this is not the format that the report will be going to TEA? So will we get a chance to see the format that TEA gets? We don't?
Come to the microphone, please, thank you.
Yes, so what we do is, it's kind of that similar format we have where we just post a number of requests, and that's it. Just total number of requests by the board.
And Ken, if I can elaborate a little bit, what happens is that information is transmitted through the PEMS reporting that happens every year to the agency. There's a new requirement that started, I think, last
Yes,
year.
last year.
So it is very basic data they're trying to collect just from every school district to see in total how much time are we spending, is administration spending on requests for the board. And again, it's just, and we can definitely, if you like, we can definitely print that little section of the report when we're going to submit it so you all can see it. But it is just very generic looking information, but we definitely can print it for y'all to look at. That's not a problem.
So it's not this school year? It's
Last school year was the
year's
first,
school year.
yes.
So this doesn't have anything to do with this current board?
It'll be reported in the summertime, next year, 2016.
It's for a mix. It's
Yes.
for the school year.
For the school year, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Physical school year. Thank you.
Annual end of year report for continuing education credit for school board. Update on board advisory committee. Anybody, Mr. Sleep?
Sir, can you read that, please?
Which one? Update on.
The end of required hour.
Can I read them?
We always have to record it, right? We have to read it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, here it is.
Mr. Flores, tier 1, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 21, 0.25. Mr. Foil, tier 1, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 23.5. Mr. Macias, tier 1, tier 2, 9. No tier 3 for Mr. Macias. Mr. Shaw, tier 1, 4.5, tier 2.
Is your mic on, sir?
I'm sorry. Okay, you want me to start over? Okay. Mr. Flores, tier 1, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 21.5, meets yes. Mr. LaFoil, tier 1, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 23.5, yes. Mr. Macias, tier 1, tier 2, 9, tier 3, NA, yes. Mr. Shaw, tier 1, 4.5, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 15.5, yes. Mr. Salinas, tier 1, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 27.75, yes. Dr. Salinas, tier 1, 4.5, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 11, yes. Mr. Salyer, tier 1, tier 2, 9, tier 3, 15.5, yes. Everyone meets requirements. Thank you. Any questions, anything else? Okay, update on board advisory committees. Mr. Salinas, you have anything, sir?
No, sir.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes, sir, I'd like to request a future agenda item.
Okay. We're not there yet. This is just updates.
Oh.
This is just board updates.
Where are we?
We're on committees.
Oh, I see, you're taking it.
Mr. Flores?
Yes, The administration has given us the requests that we made for internal auditor. I want the internal audit committee to go over them over the next couple of weeks, and the first week in January, we'll call a meeting of the internal audit committee and move forward with that to present something to the board in the January meeting. That's it.
Mr. Macias, anything? Mr. LaFoil, anything? Dr. Salinas? Good. Okay, let's go to F, update on board training, conference events, consider future agenda items, requests by board members. Mr. Salinas?
Yes, sir, I'm going to be requesting, I talked to Dr. Montoya, that I would like an item for discussion only in the January board meeting, sir, providing transportation to those students that wish to attend one of the other high schools, because there's a program that they would like to go to, but yet, and I've heard from a couple of parents that the reason they don't do it is because they have to provide transportation and they work, and sometimes they say it's hard. We could do it once in a while, but not every day. We are doing it for some students. So I've asked Dr. Montoya to get with his staff, and they're going to give us a budget, proposed budget for 2016-17. For example, it will be required 3 buses, for sure. 3 bus drivers, and then, of course, I don't know as to where they would be picked up on their high school that they're attending now, but they're gonna be going to another high school. They've done it before where they would pick them up from their respective high schools. So I think this would be great for all of our students that are in the high school that would like to attend. For example, cosmetology is gonna have a lot of requests, I'll tell you that right now. But maybe they're at Judson High School, but they wanna go to the new high school because they're gonna have cosmetology. Or the new one we're gonna have over there is the printing shop. Also, they're interested in that. There's money in that, yeah, to have the 3 or 4 year training that's required. But it's only, sir, for discussion, no action yet, because that'll be during Dr. Montoya can make that presentation at the budget time. Is that okay, sir?
Yeah, that's fine. And jump in, I've had some ag folks from Wagner and going to New High School. We only have the ag program at Judson, so I've had Wagner and the new Mackey High School folks approach me, well, I want to do ag. How do I do ag? Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Ms. Bashaw?
Okay, thank you. I'd like for us to have on the January agenda a discussion and a briefing on a Spirit Award in the name of Giles Babb. I would like to discuss how that possibly could proceed, and I'd like to recommend that in that discussion, that first Spirit Award be awarded to Giles's family at this particular time until we can come up with some solution. Also, Dr. Montoya, I was given so much memorabilia from Giles's family. I don't know what to do with it, but a lot of it is something that would be in a display case, or maybe it should be in the athletic department. And if Mr. Miller has a library, maybe this is some stuff that should go in a library, but it's valuable, and
He's got an answer.
Okay.
Ms. Pichelle, you bring up an excellent concept. One of the things internally we've been talking about is set up an area, almost a historical museum type of thing of the history of Judson ISD, because we've had a couple other people say, I have stuff at home collected and I don't know what to do with it. So we're going to be talking about setting up a display area where a lot of the public can come in and say, well, that was when Judson first started, and maybe we could do it by 10-year periods or whatever. And that would be an ideal thing to get your materials, which would be excellent. And we want to have an area, again, where the public had a lot of access and can see it. And then we'll put it in some kind of display cases with some descriptors, because I think that'd be good for people to see. But your idea is excellent, and we will be working on that.
Anything else, Mr. Shaw? Mr. Flores?
As far as upcoming events, on February 4th, and you'll be getting more information on this, is a grassroots that will take place at Region 20 at 6 o'clock. There's some talk amongst the TASB directors in Region 20. We may try to move it to a Saturday so some of the outlying school districts can attend, because it's tough coming in during the week from Uvalde and, you know, that they're part of Region 20. So that's really about it there. Thank you.
Mr. Macias?
I don't have anything.
Mr. LaFoille?
Nothing.
Dr. Salinas?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Okay, we're going to go into closed session here. Hold on, let me read my, let me get everything out here. This board will now adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meeting Act. Pursuant to Texas Code 55.1071, consider, discuss new superintendent evaluation. B, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, consider, discuss possible final action on proposed termination of Wagner High School band director. C, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.075, discussing personnel. No final action, decision, or vote shall be taken while the board is in closed session. The board shall reconvene in the open meeting after closed session. If necessary, vote or decision will be made in open session prior to adjournment of the meeting. We're going to close session at 9:07. Thank you.